Yeah, fire away. Anything you guys are struggling with or questions you have? Just for your awareness, so I've been here about 3 years. I work with all of our agency partners, so mostly on the, you know, front end and back end kind of big commerce side of things. But obviously, a lot of our agency partners also build and maintain, and even sometimes list and sell applications. So have a pretty broad view of the whole platform, so hopefully can help you out with whatever you're struggling with.
Um, what type of solutions are partners consistently looking for? That's like a super broad question, but I guess just kind of like, what are you always hearing from partners?
Yeah, that's a good one, and it's broad, but I think I have a good answer. So everything we build and release, we try to fit some set of use cases that we see in the market, and that's usually not 100% of every use case or feature any merchant under the sun would ever need. So like with B2B is a good example, right? We have a lot of B2B kind of centric features under our enterprise license, but we saw a gap for more of those true enterprise kind of pure play B2B features, stuff like invoicing portals, things like easy out of the box, conditional payment options for different user types and things like that. So that's usually what I'm hearing, is there's some use case or gap that we chose in most cases to not address kind of in the native functionality. The good part though is since we do everything API first, that's kind of baked into our model, in that we build the infrastructure so other people, namely our partners, can go in and kind of build on top of us and go fill those use cases out. And then in some cases, like with the B2B example, right? So Silk Software built Bundle B2B, and a few years later, we even ended up acquiring that, and that's now kind of all under the BigCommerce umbrella. So yeah, I don't have a specific answer for, maybe if you gave me like a more specific part of the platform, I might be able to get more specific. But yeah, it's usually that 10, 15, 20% we choose not to address in our releases, and partners needing that kind of functionality.
Are there any to you? And I'm sure you guys, like your team talks about this, but are there any obvious gaps in what's offered in the app marketplace? So
yeah, we keep a list of, like, as I hear either merchants or partners asking for different types of solutions. Once I hear that a few times, I keep a little Google Doc where I just jot all that stuff down. And we've actually been pretty successful in getting partners to go help us build some of that stuff.
cool. And I guess like similarly, just off of that, are there any like types of apps that are starting to emerge and be popular? Like, I guess maybe that's not really your wheelhouse, but like, for example, like like I've been in some of the meetings where we have like more Web3 things coming up. Are there more like shipping things? Like, are there like trends in apps in the marketplace?
I'm really excited. So we just released a beta around customer segments, which basically makes customer groups work in a different way. So I haven't really seen it start happening yet, but something I'm really excited to see is more personalization solutions come out through that BigCommerce segments API.
This is like the opposite of that question. Are there any types of apps or just like types of solutions that you just find people aren't looking for anymore?
I think we have critical mass in some areas, like generic ERP connectors come to mind. I know it's a big space, and like especially for a SaaS platform, we do that a lot more than some of our competitors. And I still see a lot of need and desire for like more specific ERP connectors. If it's saying, there's all these ERPs that are like industry specific and stuff like that, and we may not have an integration in the marketplace. But through things like eBridge and some of the other, like Celigo for NetSuite, I see that space is pretty saturated, if you will. And again, ERP is so complicated. Most of the time, you still have extra dev work to do on top of that anyway. So that's one area I see. And then in general, I think like compared to other people's app marketplaces, there's less like front end plug and play components. Like, I don't know, I see, free shipping bars or filters and facets and stuff like that on a lot of other people's marketplaces. One thing I do wish we had more of were custom widgets. You know, we last year, I believe, released the ability to list widgets in the marketplace, custom widgets, and have other people download those and use them in Page Builder. And there's been, I think, 3 or 4 partners that have taken us up on that. Power, POWR, if you want to look in the marketplace, I think is the most popular one, or the one that's released the most widgets. But I see that as a real greenfield opportunity, especially because we're going to keep improving functionality in Page Builder. So, I mean, we have, I think, 10 or 12 native widgets in there. I'm sure there's, 100 plus other widgets merchants would want to use. So
Totally. And this question's not on the list, but it's just a question of mine. As BigCommerce moves towards like this goal ultimately of being like the open SaaS platform, like what excites you in your role, and like what like partners will get to do as we like move more deliberately towards like things being open?
I just coming from companies where things are less open. I mean, the whole pitch just excites me, and the fact that we stay in our lane and do what we're good at, and then are eager to have other people come in and build on top of us with the things they're good at. So I think like personalization is the one that comes to mind for me again the most. Is we do not have a team of 100 data scientists on staff that are working through personalization models and stuff like that. But there are lots of companies in the world, and even some of our partners, I don't know if they have 100 data scientists, but there are people that do that, and they're good at that, and that's kind of their bread and butter. So it really just excites me. I think it's kind of our right to win in the future, that we're not, I don't know, we haven't built a business where we have to kind of keep everything in a box and do everything ourselves, and that it's not, it doesn't cut against us when we build these infrastructures and let people build on top of us and stuff like that. So I think like whatever the next big wave is, it's we're in a good position to take advantage of it, not by ourselves, but because we kind of play in that bigger pool.
Yeah, totally. Oh, so exciting. Okay, so this one is separate from the other ones, or it's not on the same trend. So do you have any advice for avoiding burnout when you're starting as a partner trying to get up and running?
Ooh, it's a good question. I might have to punt that one, because for some reason I am I have burned out. I've had burnout before from dev work, but it tends to take me quite a long time. So actually recently, not too recently, but my recent past had the kind of the first bout of that and had to work through it. So I don't have great advice. I kind of managed to avoid it for a long time. I guess, try to stay working on things that really interest you. Make sure you take a break. Don't in hour 12, how much work are you really getting done, as opposed to going to bed and looking at it in the morning, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm probably not the best person to ask around burnout. So
perhaps they could join Developer Slack and talk to us about it, and we would help them through it.
There you go.
But everyone should join Dev Slack. Okay, Peter just asked this question. So since we're talking about widgets, are there any plans to couple widgets and their configurations with a theme that you can buy in the theme store? So, and I'm reading from him. So I'm imagining a theme you can buy that comes with a set of pre-configured and placed widgets within the theme.
That is on the roadmap. Yeah, that's in, I believe, the next release of Page Builder. I would have to check. I don't have that in my mind, if it's coming by the end of this year or by the first half of next year. But yeah, we're definitely planning on that. So today, right, you can list and sell widgets in the marketplace, but soon you would be able to like take an entire, take Cornerstone, clone it, completely customize it, and build like your own set of widgets that just go with that theme. Absolutely.
Cool. Peter, do you have any follow-ups to that answer? No pressure.
And I'll make sure in the follow-ups we can add when that actually is slated for release. So
cool. All right. The last one I have here is, do you have any words of advice for new partners or devs, or new partners or developers interested in becoming a partner?
Yeah, I would say, utilize us as resources. That's one piece of feedback I've consistently gotten from partners since the day I started is, our commitment to working with developers, to working with partners, to hopping on the phone and helping you, figure out the challenges you're having scoping a project, or, hey, should I be using this API, or is there some other API I don't know about I should use? Like we're always happy to do that kind of stuff. Just as kind of proof of that, my team is the partner solutions engineering team, which is separate from our kind of more traditional, sales engineering team that maps to our sales resources. So I
Mhm.
mean, we're committed to where we have global resources staff just to work with partners that aren't, in new deal cycles, aren't filling out RFPs, just to kind of support the whole ecosystem.
Mhm.
So just to be clear, to take kind of full advantage of that, you do need to be a BigCommerce partner. But we have other channels if you're not a partner, things like Developer Slack, which we mentioned earlier. I know we have a Discord channel that we're all in for the hackathon. So I mean, that would be my advice. I talk to new partners pretty frequently where they say, oh, hey, I've been trying to figure this out on my own for 10 hours, and I made this progress, and it turned out, we could have just sent them a link to the correct API, and they would have been on their way. So, we're staffed and ready to help you in that way. And I guess that's my biggest piece of advice is please take advantage of that. So.
That's awesome. And are there plans to assign a custom page template only in Page Builder? So without the need to assign the custom template in the BigCommerce control panel. I would love to see the custom page assignments with config JSON get used within the Page Builder.
That's a good question. I have not heard, I don't believe there's any items on the roadmap to address that. I was trying to think if there's some way you could do that through widgets. Probably not in a good way. So yeah, I'll add that to my feedback list that I share with product. That's a good one that I think makes sense. And yeah, those live on all the different resources. So I imagine we would have to kind of pipe those back into Page Builder. I'm just thinking through it. So yeah, good question. No, I don't think we have any projects slated for that. And I'll share that feedback with the team.